What if I told you that one of the exercises you've trusted your entire life might not be the exercise your body needs most after 60? I know that sounds surprising. For years, maybe even decades, we've heard the same advice. Want stronger legs? Do squats. Want stronger hips? Do squats. Want to stay active as you get older? Squat more. And honestly, squats are not bad exercises. I've recommended them many times myself. But after working with older adults for years, I've noticed something important. Many people are getting stronger on paper, yet they're still feeling unsteady when they walk. They're still afraid of falling. They're still reaching for walls, railings, and furniture for support. That's when I started asking a different question. What if strength isn't the biggest issue anymore? Because the truth is, after 60, one of the greatest threats to your health isn't losing muscle, it's losing stability. One unexpected stumble, one misstep, one moment of losing your balance can change everything. I've seen active, independent people suddenly lose confidence after a fall, not because they became weak overnight, but because they no longer trusted their body. Today, I want to show you 4 simple movements that many people overlook. They're not flashy. They don't require a gym membership. But they target something that becomes incredibly important as we age: balance, control, and the ability to move with confidence. And trust me, the #1 exercise on this list surprises almost everyone. Before we get started, welcome to the Senior Health Channel. If you're interested in staying strong, active, and independent for years to come, take a moment to subscribe. We share practical, science-based health advice designed specifically for adults over 60. Now, let's talk about why the exercises you've always relied on may not be enough anymore. One thing I've learned after working with older adults for many years is that aging doesn't usually happen all at once. Most people don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel old. It happens little by little. You notice it when you react a bit slower, when stepping off a curb takes more attention than it used to, when your knees feel stiff after sitting for a while, or when you catch yourself reaching for a handrail that you never needed before. A lot of this comes down to changes inside the body that we can't always see. The nervous system doesn't send signals as quickly as it once did. The cushioning inside the joints gradually wears down. Muscles still matter, of course, but strength alone is no longer the whole story. I've met plenty of people in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who were surprisingly strong, yet they still felt unsteady when they walked. That's why stability becomes so important with age. Your body needs to know how to react when you trip, turn suddenly, or lose your footing for a split second. Those moments happen fast. And when they do, balance often matters more than how much weight you can lift. In fact, when I look at patients who stay active and independent the longest, they usually have one thing in common: they move with confidence. They trust their body. They can walk, turn, climb stairs, and recover from small stumbles without panic. That's the real goal after 60. Not just building stronger muscles, but building a body that can keep you steady, safe, and independent for years to come. You know, most people think falls happen because we're weak, but that's not the full story. I've seen strong seniors who can lift, squat, and carry more than most younger adults and still feel wobbly the moment they turn too fast or step off a curb. The real culprit is instability. Your body loses a little coordination with age. Muscles and joints might be strong, but if your hips, core, and nervous system aren't working together, even a small misstep can send you off balance. That sideways slip, that quick twist, the unexpected step down, they happen in a flash. And if you're not prepared, your body can't react fast enough. I can't tell you how many times I've watched patients regret not training their balance earlier. It's subtle at first, a slight wobble here, a lean there, but it builds up. That's why protecting your balance is urgent, not just for exercise or strength, for your independence, your confidence, and frankly, your safety every single day. Learning to stabilize before you fall isn't optional, it's essential. Let me tell you about a muscle that almost nobody talks about, yet it plays a huge role in how well you move after 60. It's called the gluteus medius. Most people have never heard of it. But when it's weak, the body lets you know. This muscle sits on the side of your hip, and its job is to keep you stable every time you take a step. Every time you walk, climb stairs, stand on one leg, or even get dressed while balancing on one foot, your gluteus medius is working behind the scenes. The problem is that most older adults never train it directly. They focus on bigger muscles, the thighs, the calves, the glutes you can see in the mirror. Meanwhile, this small, stabilizing muscle gets weaker year after year. I've seen it happen countless times. People tell me they feel fine sitting down, but when they walk, they drift to one side. Their knees start collapsing inward, their lower back gets sore. Standing on one leg becomes harder than it used to be. What surprises many people is that these changes don't always happen because they're getting weaker. Sometimes it's because the muscles responsible for stability have quietly stopped doing their job. And when the gluteus medius isn't strong enough, your pelvis becomes less stable, your balance starts to suffer, and simple everyday movements begin to feel less secure. That's why this muscle deserves far more attention than it gets. Now, I want to be very clear about something. Squats are not bad. In fact, they're one of the most popular lower body exercises for a reason. They help strengthen the thighs, the glutes, and the muscles that help you sit down, stand up, and move through daily life. For many people, squats can absolutely be part of a healthy exercise routine. But here's what I've noticed over the years. A lot of adults over 60 put almost all their focus on squats and assume that's enough. Then they wonder why they're still struggling with balance, feeling unsteady on uneven ground, or reaching for support when they turn too quickly. The reason is simple. Squats mainly train the larger muscles that produce force. They do a much smaller job training the muscles responsible for stability and coordination. And after 60, those stabilizing muscles become incredibly important. Because life isn't just about standing up and sitting down. Life is stepping sideways to avoid an obstacle, turning around when someone calls your name, catching yourself when you lose footing for a split second. Those moments require control, not just strength. I've seen many older adults who can do plenty of squats, but still don't feel confident when walking or climbing stairs. That's because the body needs more than power. It needs balance. It needs coordination. It needs muscles that help keep the hips, pelvis, and spine working together. So, instead of asking whether squats are good or bad, I think the better question is this. What movements prepare your body for real life? That's exactly where these next exercises come in. They're simple, practical, and designed to train the muscles that often matter most as we get older. Let's start with the first exercise on our list, the side-lying hip abduction. I know it doesn't look impressive. In fact, many people see it and think, that's too easy to make a difference. But over the years, I've learned that some of the most effective exercises for older adults are often the simplest ones. This movement targets the gluteus medius, the muscle we talked about earlier, that helps keep your hips and pelvis stable when you walk. And that's important because when this muscle gets weak, the body starts compensating. The knees work harder. The lower back takes on extra stress. Walking becomes less efficient, and balance starts to suffer. What's interesting is that research has shown this exercise can significantly improve single-leg balance and walking stability in older adults. In some studies, people reported feeling steadier on their feet and experienced less lower back fatigue after adding it to their routine for just a few weeks. That's not because they became dramatically stronger. It's because their body learned how to stabilize itself better. Here's how to do it. Lie on your side on a comfortable surface. Bend your bottom leg slightly for support. Keep your top leg straight and position it just a little in front of your body. Now turn your top toes slightly toward the floor. This small adjustment helps target the right muscles. Slowly raise your leg upward, pause for a second, then lower it back down with control. No rushing, no swinging, just smooth, steady movement. Aim for about 10 to 15 repetitions on each side, 2 or 3 times a week. You should feel the work on the side of your hip, not in your lower back. It may seem simple, but don't underestimate it. Sometimes the exercise that looks the easiest is the one your body needs the most. Now, let's talk about why that simple side-lying hip lift matters in real life. Strengthening your hip stabilizers isn't just about muscles you can see, it's about keeping your body steady every time you move. When your gluteus medius is stronger, walking feels more confident. You can stand longer without wobbling. Even small things, like reaching for a high shelf or stepping off a curb, become easier. Your knees stay in line instead of collapsing inward, and your lower back doesn't have to overcompensate. I've worked with many seniors who were doing all the right exercises but skipped this one, and their balance still wavered. Adding it changed everything for them. It's the difference between hesitating with every step and moving through the day with quiet confidence. For anyone over 60, that stability can protect you from falls and keep you independent far longer than you might think. Don't overlook it. It really works. Now let's move to exercise number 3. And this is where things start getting really interesting. Because most people think balance is only about standing still. It isn't. Real balance is what happens when your body has to react while moving. When you turn around quickly because someone calls your name. When you step backward to avoid bumping into something. When you twist to grab a seatbelt or reach for an item on a shelf. Those are the moments when many falls actually happen. One thing I've noticed with my older patients is that they often feel fine walking in a straight line. The trouble starts when they have to rotate. That's because rotational stability tends to decline with age, and most traditional exercises don't train it. Squats certainly don't. That's where posterior hip abduction can help. Research on older adults has shown that exercises targeting these deeper hip stabilizers can improve rotational control, reduce side-to-side sway while walking, and help the body recover more effectively when balance is suddenly challenged. In simple terms, your body becomes better prepared for the unexpected. To perform this exercise, lie on your side just as you did with the previous movement. This time, move your top leg slightly behind your body. Turn your toes upward toward the ceiling. Then slowly lift your leg, pause briefly at the top, and lower it with complete control. Keep the movement small. Don't swing your leg. Don't twist your back. Focus on feeling the muscles around the side and back of your hip doing the. Start with 10 to 12 repetitions on each side, 2 or 3 times per week. It may not feel dramatic, but that's often how the best exercises work. You're not just strengthening a muscle here. You're teaching your body how to stay steady during the exact movements that cause so many unexpected falls later in life. Here's the thing about rotational control. It's the kind of balance most people never think about until it's too late. I see it all the time in my patients. Simple daily actions, like turning around in the kitchen to grab a dish, looking over your shoulder while driving, or stepping backward off a curb, can feel risky if your hips aren't stabilizing properly. That tiny twist or shift can throw you off balance in a split second. Strengthening those hip stabilizers with movements like posterior hip abduction trains your body to handle these exact moments. It's not about big lifts or flashy exercises. It's about teaching your muscles and nervous system to react so you can move safely, confidently, and independently every single day. Missing this step? That's when accidents sneak up on you. Let's talk about exercise number 2, the standing hip drop and abduction. This one is all about lateral stability, how well your body can stay upright when things try to push you side to side. Walking is great for overall movement, but it mostly takes your body forward. Real life isn't just forward and backward. We twist, we step sideways, we shift unexpectedly. That's when many falls happen, especially as we get older. Strengthening your hips in the side-to-side plane gives your body a kind of insurance. Studies show that older adults who practice these movements improve pelvic alignment, single-leg balance, and overall walking stability. They feel steadier, climb stairs more confidently, and recover from small slips faster. Here's how to do it. Stand near a sturdy chair, wall, or countertop for support. Shift your weight onto one leg. Lift the opposite foot just above the ground. Let your standing hip drop slightly, then use that same glute to pull your hip back up into alignment. You can add a small side swing with the lifted leg if you want more challenge. Control the movement, no jerking, no leaning. Start with 6 to 8 slow reps per side, 2 or 3 times a week. This isn't flashy, but it teaches your body how to stay upright when life tries to push you off balance. It's practical, simple, and incredibly effective. Here's something I see all the time. When balance slips, confidence slips too. Older adults start hesitating with every step, avoiding stairs, sidestepping uneven sidewalks, holding onto counters just to feel safe. That fear of falling can quietly shrink your world. The standing hip drop exercise doesn't just strengthen muscles. It teaches your body to react and stabilize when life shifts under you. Every controlled rep sends a message to your brain. You can trust yourself again. Step by step, side to side, your body relearns stability. That regained trust transforms how you move through the day, more confident, less tense, and ready to live independently without constantly second-guessing every footstep. It's not about speed. It's about certainty. And once you feel it, it changes everything. Now, let's talk about exercise number 1, the standing hip extension with external rotation. I rank this as the most important for anyone over 60, and here's why. Most exercises, even squats or leg presses, move the body in a straight line up and down, forward and back. Life doesn't work like that. You twist, pivot, reach behind, step backward off a curb. Those are the moments where falls actually happen. This exercise trains your body to handle those real-life movements safely. When you do it, you're not just swinging your leg back. You're engaging deep hip stabilizers that rarely get worked, your core muscles that hold your spine steady, and the muscles along your lower back and pelvis that keep you balanced. Your nervous system learns to coordinate all these systems together. That coordination is what stops a stumble from turning into a fall. Studies show that older adults who practice this movement improve reaction times to instability, activate spinal stabilizers more effectively, and reduce misalignment in the pelvisol without lifting heavy weights. Here's how to do it. Stand sideways near a wall or a sturdy surface. Shift your weight onto one leg. Move the opposite leg slightly behind you. Turn the toes outward, away from your body, so your hip rotates externally. Swing the leg back just a few inches in a controlled motion. Keep your chest tall, core lightly engaged, spine aligned. Slowly return to center. Pause. Don't rush, don't swing. Start with 8 to 10 reps per side, 2 or 3 times a week. This simple movement teaches your body to move safely through the exact twists and turns that trip up so many seniors. It's subtle, but it protects independence, confidence, and keeps you moving with control every single day. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one important thought. A lot of people spend years chasing strength the way they did when they were younger. They focus on lifting heavier, pushing harder, or doing more repetitions. But after 60, the definition of strength starts to change. Real strength isn't measured by how much weight you can move. It's measured by how well you can move through your life. Can you walk across an uneven parking lot without feeling nervous? Can you climb a flight of stairs without grabbing the railing the entire way? Can you step off a curb, turn around quickly, or carry groceries without worrying about losing your balance? That's the kind of strength that matters most. I've met people in their 70s and 80s who weren't athletes, but they moved with confidence. They trusted their body. They stayed active because they weren't afraid of falling. And honestly, that's what most of us want as we get older. Not perfect fitness, not impressive gym numbers. We want freedom. The goal isn't to prove how strong you are. The goal is to keep doing the things you love without hesitation. To visit family, travel, work in the yard, go for walks, and live independently. That's why I encourage people to stop thinking only about building stronger muscles and start thinking about building a body that moves better, reacts better, and stays steady when life throws unexpected challenges your way. That's what true strength looks like after 60. So, to wrap things up, we've gone through 4 exercises that matter more than squats alone for anyone over 60. The side-lying hip abduction, posterior hip abduction, standing hip drop and abduction, and standing hip extension with external rotation. Each one strengthens your hips, improves balance, and helps your body react to real-life movements. You don't need a gym or heavy weights. Just start with one movement today. Try it, notice how it feels, and share your experience in the comments. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope you stay strong, steady, and independent. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Senior Health Channel for more practical tips to keep moving safely every day.